If I'm our nominee, how is Hillary Clinton going to lecture me about living paycheck to paycheck? I was raised paycheck to paycheck. How is she going to lecture me? How is she going to lecture me about student loans? I owed over $100,000 just 4 years ago.
All right, that was Senator Marco Rubio earlier tonight during the first 2016 Republican primary debate. Now, we spoke with the Florida senator just a few moments ago. And joining us now, Florida Senator Marco Rubio is with us. Senator, how are you?
I'm good.
Did you have a good time out there?
I did. I really did. It was a great opportunity.
You looked relaxed from the opening answer.
Yeah.
I thought some guys might have been a little nervous, and you didn't seem at all.
Well, I wasn't nervous. I was anxious. I wanted to do it. And obviously, look, it's a big audience, a lot of people watching. So you can't say you don't have a little bit of butterflies for something like this.
That's probably a good thing.
But these are a good group of guys that were up on the stage with us tonight. I mean, I get along with everybody on that stage. And as I said, I meant it. I think we're very blessed as a party to have so many good candidates. The Democrats are struggling to come up with one.
And big time they're struggling in a lot of different ways. You talked about your experience early in the debate. It was brought up about, well, Jeb Bush, your relationship with him. But you also talked about your experience. It goes beyond being a first-term senator from Florida. Well, you're the Speaker of the House. You work with Governor Bush.
I actually started in local government in a small city, which is pretty intense. I mean, you want to help people, you help them at local government. Small city, 5,000 people, West Miami. Then I joined the state legislature. I was there for 8.5 years. The last 2 years, I was the Speaker of the Florida House, the third largest state in the country and the most diverse state. And then I left politics. I was out when I decided to run for the Senate against Charlie Crist. And I'm proud of my service the last 4.5 years in the Senate. But in my time, I've become convinced that we can't turn this country to what it should belong, its full potential, unless we have a president that understands what that means. And that's why I chose to run.
One of the big issues that has been going on throughout the whole campaign is immigration.
Yeah.
You tried it, comprehensive reform, but one of the times I interviewed you, you said the American people don't trust us.
They don't.
And so you said, all right, so we have to build the wall for them first.
Yeah, and it's not just build the wall, as I tried to make the point tonight. It's 40% of the people that are here illegally came legally, and they overstay a visa. In Florida, it's like 70 or 80%. And you have to have a system to prevent that as well. And that is an entry-exit tracking system, so you know who's overstayed. But you also need E-Verify. You got to make it almost impossible to find a job, and that'll slow it down and stop it. And so we need all three things. We do need a fence, but we also need more security at the airport and more security, of course, when it comes to jobs.
On the minds of everybody, and it came up a lot during the debate tonight, is this horrible deal that the president is making with Iran.
Yeah.
How bad is it? What do people need to know that we could stop it from actually taking place?
Well, I can tell you a couple things that make it really bad. Virtually, it guarantees that Iran gets a nuclear weapon in less than a decade. And not just a nuclear weapon, but a long-range rocket capable of reaching the United States. Just think about it. Do we want a radical Shia cleric, the Ayatollah of Iran, to have in his possession the ability to attack the continental United States? And that's what he will have if this deal continues moving forward. Because we are not just making all sorts of money available to them by lifting sanctions. The rockets that they're developing, the long-range missiles, they're not even part of the sanctions. They can continue to develop that. And Iran, this deal isn't even 2 weeks old, and they're already cheating. They're already sending Soleimani, the head of the Al-Quds force, to Russia. And this notion that it's going to be enforced at the Security Council is ridiculous, because Russia is a member of the Security Council, and they invited him to come.
What's also unbelievable about it is the amount of money, the equivalent of $8 trillion for the U.S. economy, 24 days notice before an inspection. They get to build intercontinental ballistic missiles, and they get conventional weapons. Last question. The economy. So many people are suffering.
Yes.
We have debt that is out of control. We have unfunded liabilities to the tune of $128 billion. You know, what are the three big steps you would take to get this economy going again?
To begin, we have to understand the economy is a dramatically different one. We now have to compete with dozens of other countries, and the very nature of the economy has changed, as I pointed out tonight. For example, the largest retailer, Amazon, doesn't even own a store. So, number one, we have to become competitive again. That's why we have to lower the corporate tax rate. That's why we have to allow businesses to immediately expense. So the more people they hire, the less they pay in taxes. That's why we have to have a territorial system of taxation, so people bring money from abroad, American money, that now they're keeping overseas. Second, we need regulatory reform, basically a regulatory budget that limits how much regulations can cost our economy. We need to fully utilize our energy resources. We do have to reform Social Security and Medicare so we can balance our budget. And something we didn't talk about tonight, we must modernize higher education. We need more vocational training. Why don't we teach people to be welders anymore in America? These are good jobs.
Good professions that pay a lot of money.
Fix airplanes and so forth. But we also need to give people the ability to go to college without taking out all these loans. You know, I owed over $100,000 in student loans.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy that we are graduating people with degrees that don't lead to jobs and tens of thousands of dollars in loans because these universities have no competition. We have to change that too.
Senator Rubio, good job
Thanks,
tonight.
Sean.
Thank you. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.